Welcome to an exciting craft session today. Today we'll be looking at, guess what? Cross stitch. Now, cross stitch is a form of embroidery and it can also be habit forming. We are going to start small with your piece of fabric, which is usually called Aida. It can come in different categories. There are different types. You have what we call the HPI, the holes per inch. In this case, we are going to be working with Aida that is 14 holes, 14 hole count. And the whole idea is that there are 4 holes around a block. Now, it is the number of holes on one line inside a stitch that gives you that name. So, if you have 14 HPI, it means there are 14 holes per inch. In any case, the way we work, all those holes get filled up when you are going to do what is called the cross stitch. But in reality, they are forming X's. To start your work, look at your pattern. Then you check the middle of your pattern by looking at the height. Can you see that? This way, most kits already show you where the middle is. Okay? So where they intersect will be your middle. Can you see? Follow this. Now, if there's nothing in the middle, all it means is that you have to actually count away from that middle to the block you want to start with. You can either go up, down, or sideways. But once you start correctly, then your pattern will be centralized on the Aida. But if you don't do that, you have extra problem. So what you do is to fold your Aida. You fold it lengthwise and also according to the width. And where you have that fold, just that junction, that is actually your center. Can you see? So now we have our center, all right, after folding. So now what you do is you put your needle in place, or if you are sure that there's a stitch there, you can actually put a small mark on it. But don't do this unless you are sure that it will be covered. In Aida, we don't cover the background. We only make stitches, okay? Alright, can you see? We don't cover the background. We only make stitches. Unlike tapestry, the Aida actually forms part of the background. So if you're working with a big piece, remember to cover the tip with a masking tape to prevent it from fraying, alright? Just cover it all the way around. But if you are working very briefly, which we are doing now, that may not be essential. So now let's start by looking at our small tiny chart, which is that of our initial. Okay? And then look at our Aida. But before we do that, take a very quick look at this Crafties frame artwork. Can you see that it is Crafties written on Aida? The embroidered part is actually the blue and the brown. This is the old logo of Crafties and it was done before Crafties opened. Now look at this other one that shows that worry is like a rocking chair. Now these are things that you can use to adorn your home. Alright? You know, you can make company logos out of cross stitch. You can make it on fabrics and just create any design of your choice. Now the beauty of cross stitch comes with uniform stitches, and so we don't knot in cross stitch, but we can start by threading our needle. Now, using what we call the embroidery floss, this particular embroidery floss comes with 6 strands, okay? The one we'll be working with comes with 6 strands. So now you're not working with all of the 6 strands. You know, you take them out one by one and then you thread your needle. Now, You are better off working with tapestry needles because tapestry needles have a very long eye and they have an opening that is enough to take your yarn, and they need to be blunt because you don't want it piercing through your fabric. You just need it to go through the existing holes of your Aida. So now you thread your needle, and remember not to tie a knot. Do not tie a knot. So now you thread your needle, then note that if you tie a knot, you get an uneven thing when you want to fold it. So now you put your thread in such a way that your two strands can be walked over, okay? So now you start from the lower left position to the upper right. You can also do upper left to lower right. Okay, so now when you are done, you do one on the opposite, that is the upper left to the over right. All right, so this is how you do one cross stitch. Can you see? Your lower left to upper right, go in there, come out from the other side, then upper left to lower right. However, to work faster and to save thread, there is a need to do more than that. So what do? Where we have the same color of thread of embroidery floss along a pattern, because sometimes it can happen that you have several colors even on one row. So if you have the same color, just work several half stitches. As you get more advanced in cross stitch, you will find out that there are actually quarter stitches, half stitches, and quick quarter stitches apart from the full stitch. There's also back stitch and long stitch. But for this little example that we're going to be showing, we're just going to do cross stitches. And the whole idea is that we are going to work just using the same shade of embroidery floss for this initial. We are going to do all of the half cross stitches first, and then we can go back and do the other half. Just look at how we are doing this. It's actually very simple and it can be very, very beautiful. Just follow your chart, and here we are doing half stitches all the way. Then we'll come back and do our cross stitches. So you just keep on doing this and you see that your design or your pattern will start coming to life. So you just keep doing this and you have your cross stitch. Now just to take a look at this, this is almost completed. You know, these are artworks that you can hand over to the next generation as long as they are beautiful. And now we have our first cross stitch pattern available at Crafties, so you can send a message to get yours. We also have embroidery floss, tapestry needles, and Aida in stock. So we hope you can have fun trying this out, and see you same time next week. Bye for now.